The end of the Cold War in 1989 offered the prospect of an enduring and new kind of peace. With the world no longer torn by the harsh ideological divisions of the 20th century, peace and reconciliation seemed possible. Global politics uniquely aligned to create a new peace order. The Soviet Union, under the leadership of Mikhail Gorbachev, from March 1985, repudiated much of the ideology on which the Cold War had been fought, transformed domestic politics, and encouraged political reform among its allies in Eastern Europe. The Western powers overcame early doubts and engaged with the changes. A flood of declarations and agreements proclaimed an era of cooperation and development. The beneficial effects of peace in Europe were anticipated to spread worldwide. This became the era of globalization, the view that time and space could be conquered by new communication technologies, a thickening web of personal and business contacts facilitated by cheap air travel and the interdependence fostered by trade and financial ties. A global middle class was coming into existence based on similar patterns of consumption, orientations to culture, and even with shared views of democracy, accountability, and the rule of law. There is no automatic correlation between rising living standards and demands for democracy, yet, in the long run, consumerist lifestyles generate demands for personal autonomy and the protection afforded by independent courts. When the Cold War ended in Europe, China was still in its early stages of its transformation and pursuing its quiet rise philosophy. Yet the question of its political transformation was posed even then. Above all, the Charter International System, created at the end of World War II in 1945, based on the United Nations and its institutions, created a framework for international law, global governance, and humanitarian engagement. And it was to this universal order that Gorbachev appealed. Soviet reformers believed that with the end of the Cold War, this system could now come into its own, allowing multilateral cooperation to flourish, while tempering traditional geopolitical and great power rivalries.